Welcome to episode 386, where I'm speaking with Vaidya Jayarajan Kodikannath about modern day Ayurveda and finding the balance between preserving tradition and adapting Ayurveda for the modern world. We talk about the core elements of Ayurveda that must remain intact in order for Ayurveda to stay true to its roots and the risk of diluting Ayurveda's wisdom. So please stay tuned. Hi there, I'm your host Colette, and on this podcast I will be sharing the teachings of Ayurveda, yoga, and holistic health practices. Now, if you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend checking out the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda and the mind-body types. Thanks for listening, and now here's a new episode. This episode is sponsored by Kerala Ayurveda. Welcome to today's episode with Vaidya Jayarajan Kodikannath, a renowned Ayurvedic healer with decades of experience and a mission to spread healing wisdom across the US. Through Kerala Ayurveda Academy, he's taught thousands of students and transformed countless lives. Now you can advance your Ayurvedic career with Kerala Ayurveda Academy's expert-led certification programs. Continue your transformation journey. Enroll today and save $100 with the code ELEMENTS100. That's ELEMENTS100. Visit keralaayurveda.us/courses to learn more, and you can find all that information in the show notes. Hello and welcome back to the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. I'm always very happy to welcome our regular guest, Dr. J, or Vaidya Jayarajan Kodikannath, who is a visionary, a classical trained Ayurveda doctor, and an accomplished teacher representing a lineage of Ayurvedic practitioners from Kerala, India. Dr. J is also the CEO and Academy Director of Kerala Ayurveda USA. Dr. J, as I said, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Colette. I always enjoy having conversation with you on this podcast. You're doing a great job, a service to the humanity. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate those kind words. And today we're having a very important discussion, I think, about finding balance between preserving tradition and the classical teachings of Ayurveda and adapting Ayurveda for the modern world. You know, Ayurveda is thousands of years old. And actually, that's where I'd love to start, Dr. J, is for you to tell the listeners a little bit about the origin story of Ayurveda, about the history of Ayurveda, because maybe some people are not aware of that.
Sure. Thank you. I think it's important to have the reminder on from where it is coming. If you take any Indian traditional sciences, there will be two types of histories. One is the mythological history, a history narrated through the stories. And of course, then there will be, history based on the facts, archaeology, anthropological studies. And so why there is a mythological history means many of the higher level of concept and are not accessible by the layman, the normal people on the field, because everybody is not going to go through the learning the Vedas, Sanskrit, higher, So how we can bring the facts to a layman in a relatable way? That is where the mythological history comes. Because when you say, Dhanvantari came up with the kumbha, the pot of elixir Ayurveda, while churning the milk ocean, etc., it's a story. But every element of that is symbolic. What is the meaning of milk ocean? What is the meaning of, one side gods and one side? So every aspect has its own symbolisms. So now let's focus on the known facts about the history of Ayurveda. We'll see that, there's, if you look at Ashtanga Hridayam, the Vedic text, the history starts with Brahma Smritva Ayusho Vedam. The created remembered the science of Ayurveda and provided to the disciples. So we will always see that Ayurvedic knowledge is not a trial and error method by a group of people few thousands of years ago. It is coming from the higher state of consciousness. They say that even human consciousness can be elevated to a state where you are clearly able to see the past, present, and future. The human consciousness can elevate to that level. So that means everything is clear to you, and you, from that big data, you bring the specific science for the well-being, healing, and longevity of humanity. So you will see that it is coming from a higher state of human consciousness with the thousands of years of history. And as you know, the name itself, Ayurveda, it is not just about to cure few disorders. It is the science of life, the science of longevity. The first chapter of Ashtanga Hridayam is quest for longevity, Ayush Kamiyam. So it's a very profound, higher state of awareness and consciousness how we can develop in humans so that they understand what is the purpose of life, what are the facets of life, what is considered as accomplishment in life, how important your health for accomplishing those purposes and to have the longevity. So when you have longevity, you have more time to have this righteous life where you are able to reconcile all what you are carrying forward and able to, the ultimate goal of the moksha or the liberation. So it's not just a treatment system. It is not just about diet and lifestyle. It is the kind of, the user's guide. When you buy an equipment, you get the user's guide, whether it is a refrigerator, etc., right, or a car. So this is the manual, user's manual, how to maintain the life, how to make sure that you have the optimal quality, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and how to troubleshoot it. And when there is an issue, how to repair it. So it's a complete user's manual for life, not only for humans, animals, plants, for the entire living system.
Thank you for that. That's a wonderful explanation. And I think getting back to the stories, that's how we learn, right? Throughout history, we've learned through stories, and that's how this information sticks. Right. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned there, we have talked about consciousness in past episodes together, but do you feel that we've lost that vision of consciousness and the bigger picture of our journey in this lifetime, in that you're talking about what we see as goals or accomplishments in life? I feel like we're almost looking more short term in this modern world and not looking at the long term picture. In many indigenous cultures and in Ayurveda, we see that they're making plans for several generations in the future. Whereas, can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Of course, definitely. There are 2-3, challenges when we bring such profound sciences, ancient sciences, to the modern world. There are 2-3 challenges. Challenge 1, you already mentioned. Ayurveda is for sustaining the human race and the nature for generations ahead, not for now. What I am learning from Ayurveda is not just for me and what I am going to make, what I am going to do. I have a responsibility to transfer this knowledge to the current generation and facilitate flowing this to the next generation with utmost integrity and authenticity. So the modern world is always about what is for me, short term, what I can make immediately. That is one challenge. That's why in all my classes, I start with this. You're not just learning for you, because we are here only finite few years. This need to continue. That's why the lineage tradition of Ayurveda. Why you need to have a lineage tradition means it is like a river. It is flowing from the roots till the ocean. There is no end to the flow. So that vision is important. That is one lacking. Second, there is no, I was, having a conversation yesterday with a group of my students that even the modern language is not comprehensive enough to understand or explain Ayurveda, right? So, or the modern research methodologies, the modern learning methodologies is not broad enough or comprehensive enough to explain or understand the Ayurveda. For example, we say Vasti. Immediate translation in English, modern languages, enema. Vati is not enema at all. Because enema means you want to clear the bowel, you want to clear the colon. It's about removing the fecal matter. Vasti is not at all for that purpose. Vasti is the direct route of therapeutic administration. If you take anything orally, it will get absorbed to the system after a lot of chemical changes with the salivary amylases, with the acid, with the pepsins, bile, Whereas if you introduce something through the anal route, it will get absorbed to the system without any chemical change. So it's a direct port of entry. And the dosha out, the therapeutic, principle inside. Will you realize that when you say enema, oh, Vasti is this? No. Even the language is not comprehensive enough to explain. So next issue is this world, the current world is more rooted in the material life, where everything is assessed based on the material. Now, when it comes to the scientifics, the so-called scientific, it's all about everything is chemical, right? When you say vithanoloid from ashwagandha, the modern world, if you ask a modern scientist or a nutraceutical specialist, what is ashwagandha? They will say, oh, it is vithanoloids, the chemical in the ashwagandha, where you are talking only about 10 to 15% of what ashwagandha can do for you. Because there we are missing the energetics of ashwagandha, because there's no idea about what is the meaning of energetics. Second, we are missing the consciousness of ashwagandha. And it's so difficult because there's no idea. Recently I was watching a conversation on Netflix or somewhere. The modern scientific world is still talking about brain and brain function when we talk about consciousness. Consciousness is not at all brain function and energy. The real consciousness is beyond the energy. It is at the quantum level, which doesn't have any connection with the matter or the energy field. But still we are going around and around about brain function as consciousness. So
Right.
These are all limitations of the modern world in bringing this ancient sciences without losing what really it can offer to the world. So we need to have a process of bringing the root. That's my commitment. My life is, I'm very clear that there is no distraction. My commitment is to bring the root knowledge to my students and for the future without modification, without dilution, without losing its integrity. And I know it's not easy because even the language, I will have to talk 10 sentences in place of one English word, but that's okay. As long as I am able to bring the wholesomeness of Ayurveda to my students, I am happy to talk more. And because that aspect we cannot miss. We cannot miss.
Absolutely. Yeah. And unfortunately, consciousness can't be measured in a scientific lab. And that's the issue. They're still thinking very reductionist thinking there.
Exactly. But that is changing. And if you really look at, I think sometime we had this conversation that I was fortunate to have a conversation with one of the proponents of the quantum physics. There is a movement called the Holo movement. I had a conversation in last Sedona Yoga Festival with Immanuel Kunsenman from Spain, who is a proponent after Einstein and David Bohm about the quantum physics. It's called Holo movement. We had a conversation, and Immanuel felt I am talking to him quantum physics in a different language when I talked about Ayurveda. I felt Immanuel is talking to me Ayurveda in a different language.
Wow.
Because my Purusha, the cosmic consciousness, it was exactly what in his language, the implicate order. There's a cosmic order that makes everything to flow and work in a particular order. There is a method to the madness at a cosmic level. That is Purusha for me.
Mm.
And he says the changes happens in the explicate order. And for me, it is Prakriti, the energy and material available in the cosmos. The changes happens only there.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, if you really go really detailed into the most modern quantum physics and the ancient system of Ayurveda, you will see the similarity, interconnection. But the limited tool for explaining it or identifying it is very limited in the modern scientific world.
Absolutely. But so interesting that you're seeing that correlation there. And if I may add another one to your list there is you talked about, the language. It's hard to translate some of these Ayurvedic principles or Sanskrit, but also culturally. We have to look at that there is a big difference. You have a very old culture in India that teaches through stories and that has a very different way of being versus, say, the US where you are now.
Sure. I totally agree. That is, to tell you frankly, as a teacher, that is one of my challenges where when I talk to my students here, they take it verbatim and they want to implement exactly what I'm talking about, exactly the same. Whereas Ayurveda is not such a science. Ayurveda is a principle-based science. You learn the principles, then you need to personalize and customize who you are, where you are. It is not that you learn exactly few pages and you just regurgitate those 10 pages or exactly as a machine you do. No. Everything needs to be personalized. So I always tell them that when you do an Ayurvedic consultation, who is sitting in front of you? Your guidance should be 100% practical. You need to be open. You need to be flexible. You need to handhold them. You need to embrace them, accept them as they are, and give in a way which they can, you may tell only 50% of what you really studied because that is practical in their situation. So getting all the knowledge together and able to personalize that in a simple way is one of the challenges. But, we have been doing this and it's working. It needed a little bit more work and orientation.
Right.
But I'm happy that finally at the end of this, that 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I can see that real shift. One of the fact that really make me, touching my heart or making me fulfilled is our advanced students after, it's about the health counselor 1 year, then Ayurveda practitioner 1.5 years, then the advanced Ayurveda practitioner or the Ayurvedic clinical, is yes, 3 years. And at the end, when we do an internship, there will be a Rogi means client, we assess. Then I will write what is my suggestion for this. Then I ask them what can be given. When my list matches with my students' list, very fulfilling as a teacher.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So there is a way to teach. There is a way to bring the authentic knowledge, but it needs more effort. It needs, helping them to understand its comprehensiveness, the way we need to think out of the box. It is not flow charts and boxes, able to accommodate.
Yeah.
It is not just black and white. In this real world, the gray is much more. So fixed boxes will not work. So you should be able to accommodate the gray so that you'll be able to help everybody.
And I think that's, as a practitioner of Ayurveda, I think that's what makes it so interesting, is that with every Rogi that you meet, you're meeting them where they are. And then it's, it's like an investigation of, okay, what do I need to tell them and make it tailored? And that's what makes it so much more interesting than just regurgitating the same thing over and over. You know?
That is why, there is a universal Ayurvedic answer for many questions. And which I tell my students, they ask, what can we give for hypothyroidism? The answer is depends.
Right.
It's not about hypothyroidism. It's about who has this.
Exactly.
What are the expression?
Exactly.
So this answer will be a common answer in many cases, that
it depends. Yeah, and it's about making the connection with your rogi, right? And having a long consultation to really investigate. And I think that's what I enjoy doing. But I also wanted to ask you about what are the core elements of Ayurveda that you feel must remain intact, the very vital elements of Ayurveda in order to stay true to its roots as we see this, this immersion into more Western culture.
Sure. I think the most important aspect we already touched on. Ayurveda is not just a medical system. Ayurveda is not just focusing on just the material, and so able to contain the three layers of existence. We humans, we have three layers of existence. Animals, three layers of existence. Plants, three layers of existence. We are working with that three layer. What are the three layers? The physical material layer of existence, the functional or energetic layer of existence, because every function happens through the energy, and that is the energetic layer of existence. And third is the conscious or the causal layer of existence. And when you take a herb, right, you are not, from an Ayurvedic perspective, if you are doing in the traditional Ayurvedic way, you are not just taking the plant material. You are harnessing the plant material, the plant energetics, and the plant consciousness. And there are methodologies. So one is, we should never lose that, the completeness of our understanding, conceptual understanding. And that orientation is something what I'm feeling we are losing it. We are force fitting the ancient sciences with such a profound understanding about the three-layered existence into just material or just curcumin from turmeric. It is not Ayurveda, right? It's a chemical. I always mention in my classes that the village girl turmeric, that is the Ayurvedic turmeric, okay? The village girl turmeric, she was so beautiful, and she is known to enhance the vitality of people. She is known to heal skin problems and able to, manage the itching type of issues in the skin, etc. When she moved to the city as curcumin, what happened? Go and read the side effect of curcumin. You will see skin irritation, itching. These are all side effects of curcumin. What happened to our village girl turmeric?
Right.
So turmeric is not, or curcumin is not turmeric. Curcumin as a whole, there is a whole family of molecule within the turmeric. There is a family of energetics within the turmeric. Turmeric as a living entity, as a plant, turmeric has its own consciousness. How you can harness the three layers of turmeric into your chai latte, right? How you can harness that three-layer turmeric into your ghee, into your life, how it can enrich you physically, functionally, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's a totally different orientation we need to keep nurturing. It is not there in the modern world. And I think that is key. If you want to take Ayurveda to the next generations with its fullest possibility, we should keep nurturing this. So that is one of my concern when I see the more nutraceutical adaptation of Ayurvedic herbs, or bringing Ayurveda into the modern medical care, etc. Because it is not their fault. They don't have that orientation. They don't have any idea about, hey, turmeric has consciousness. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Right? So it need the traditional Vaidyas, the traditional teachers of Ayurveda, rather than they are changing themselves to meet to the modern scientific conversation. They should hold their wholesome approach and try to help the modern world. Rather than we are leaving we call it a Sattvam. Sattvam means our real essence. So we need to incorporate those essence. Initially, they may not understand, but you keep nurturing that. And that's what we need to do.
Yeah. We have this fascination in the West with reducing everything down, taking the curcumin out of turmeric and reducing medicine down to different areas of the body. And it's this fascination with.
Yeah, it's a problem
Yeah,
actually.
it is.
To me, it's a problem. One, you are not getting the possibilities from your turmeric by isolating one because you are looking only at some very specific function. Turmeric can do much more than what it can do.
Yeah.
I was telling the other day in my class that why curcumin is causing skin irritation and itching, whereas turmeric is used for that condition. It is like this. Say that, oh, Dr. J, we want you in my healing protocol. Okay? And my body has lot of tissues. Now, you have decided to aspirate the acid from my stomach. You are aspirating the acid and concentrating the acid like you are concentrating that chemicals of a plant. Then you are pouring this concentrated acid of Dr. J into somebody's hand and they get severe burn. You say that, oh, Dr. J is so much intense and burning. It is not Dr. J.
Right.
You isolated one component, whereas that acid is not burning for me because I have many other ingredients and factors balancing it out. Every plant has its own inner balance. That is why they are sustaining. Every human has the innate balance. That is why they are living longer. So if you want the turmeric to help you wholesomely, you need to have that family or the balance within the plant to come to you with a therapeutic benefit rather than a concentrated acid of Dr. J it will have a side effect. Then you will say that Dr. J has so much side effect because I took this acid from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think along with the lack of understanding consciousness, I think it's also a lack of our connection to nature that's causing this lack of understanding of the value of plants and herbs and just nature in general.
Totally agree. We talk to our cows, we talk to the plants. They are living entities. They have the material body, they have the energetic flow, and they have consciousness. Plants have consciousness. They are living entities, right? We talk to them, we pray to them, we seek permission from them. And, there's a huge concept or a profound concept. Do you know that we will not just go and cut the plants or take the bark like it's a material, it's all for human consumption? We don't do that. We honor them, we respect them. We have rituals, even seeking permission from the plant to pluck their leaves.
Yes,
or
that's beautiful.
Their bark. There's a whole ritual.
Yeah.
And the ancient texts say that if you follow the rituals, and not only the plant material, the whole plant will be ready to sacrifice because joining somebody's, alleviating somebody's suffering is considered as the highest righteousness, a step to eternity. And the plant will consider it as a moksha that will be able to sacrifice itself and join the healing journey.
That's beautiful. Got goosebumps with that. That's beautiful. But I think that's part of the cultural understanding. I remember you talking before about planting seeds with a certain time in the moon cycle, the depth of wisdom of understanding nature and living in tune with that.
So you need to harvest this plant in this particular season, and it should be in this particular day of constellation, and it should be the root going in this particular direction. It's a very detailed, a very profound, concept, very subtle. The problem of our generation is if we don't understand something, either we say that, oh, these are all, superstition, because we are not able to understand things. But at the same time, we have only limited capability of looking at things. And that has been a challenge. I worked with a lot of Vaidyas, the very senior Vaidya. That was, myself and my friend who is in Australia now. we used to go and visit old Vaidyas once in a month or once in 2 months. One day we will spend with one old Vaidya, 8-year, 9-year in the community. Spend a day with them.
Right.
Touch their feet. We are here today. We want to learn and have conversations with you. And learned a lot.
Mm.
And I still remember making a formulation that Vaidya says he was a toxicology specialist, in that district, anywhere, any snake bite or anything, people will rush to that family. So he had specialty formulations, etc. in Trichur. So he told, this particular ingredient is not available these days. And he mentioned, this is the way it grows, and this is where it is, this is the way it needs to be harvested. We made one formulation where on a no moon night, a particular tree, the root going to the north, you expose it, take a dark glass filled with pure sesame oil, cut the root, the part of the root attached to the tree, you put it into this sesame oil, seal it, cover it, wait for 28 days. The next no moon day, night, you go and take it, seal it and bring it. One of the best medicine for neurotoxic poisons like cobra.
Wow. That's fascinating. And like you said, this knowledge cannot come from a group of people getting together and, and talking it out. No, this has to be, some divine downloads happening.
Correct.
Yeah. That's fascinating. And we lose so much today when we don't have the patience to learn about this depth of wisdom, as you talk about. Like it's so deep, but it's standing the test of time, right? And we're seeing that people are craving this. And I think we're craving this connection to nature. And that's why all of us are so passionate about Ayurveda. And so I'd like to talk about, like, what are the risks that you see in diluting this Ayurvedic depth of wisdom and simplifying it for, mainstream wellness or those speaking points on social media?
So, one good thing about Ayurveda and such Vedic sciences are it can fit in anywhere without any contradiction. I have so many medical doctors learning Ayurveda from me at Kerala Ayurveda. Many medical doctors. Last 3 years, the percentage of medical doctors doing our program is really increasing.
Fantastic.
Transplantation specialist and oncologist and, all modern.
Wow.
So, and it can fit in anywhere without any contradiction. This is common sense principle, right? The common sense principle. So that is one good thing. It can fit in anywhere. The challenge is that one human life is not enough to learn the whole Ayurveda. This is the time of instant gratification, this 30-second clips or 48-second clips. The attention span is so low and the patience is slow, very low. That is going to be the challenge, because that's why in the first class, even the orientation session, I tell them, one life is not enough to learn all Ayurveda. We are all students at different levels. I must have started swimming in this ocean a little bit earlier, but this is a lifelong journey. That orientation needs to continue. This is a lifelong journey. We will never be done. Keep learning as much as possible within the available time in your life. Keep learning, keep practicing, keep living. This is my last sentence of any webinar, any class I conduct. I tell my students, keep learning, keep practicing, keep living. There is no end to it. The lifelong commitment of passionate students who understand or who believe in the profound nature of Vedic tradition, that's what we need to take Ayurveda to the next generations without losing its originality. I'm going to repeat. We need people who believe in the profound nature of these Vedic sciences with the complete passion and commitment, understanding this is a whole lifelong journey. And as you keep learning, keep sharing, keep practicing, and keep orienting people on this. We need committed group of students who are ready to take this lifelong journey and consider that as a part of their dharma, their life mission. That will help Ayurveda to sustain through generations.
Mm.
That is how it sustained. Because if you read the ancient texts, it was their lifelong commitment. It is not that I'm going to practice this and make as much as possible in 20 years and I'm going to retire and go and stay in Hawaii. No, it was not for immediate, acquiring wealth or, it's a different orientation. This is my life. This is my life path. This is what I want to express myself in this world. So that commitment, that lifelong commitment journey, and finding that as the meaning of life.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Mm-hmm. It goes back to what you said earlier about, looking at what is success, what is accomplishment in our life. And we're going against the modern individualistic approach, which I think is not working out so well as we're seeing, but it's, gain at all costs, build wealth and so on. But it really is about you finding your own values in life, right?
Correct. It's the individuals, the world is the collection of individuals, and every human transformation, if I always say this, if you want to change an individual, or if you want to transform a family, or if you want to transform a community or the whole world, there is only one way. Keep building awareness. That is the only way to transform the world.
Yeah.
Keep building awareness. All the teachers of Ayurveda should bring this, not just what is fitting into today's context or what people are. We should not go with the trends. The trends keep changing.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%.
So we need to commit to bring the wholesomeness of the sciences. And we need to consider that as a part of our dharma.
Beautifully said. And I think you're answering the next question, which I was going to ask was, how can practitioners, educators, and individuals contribute to preserving Ayurveda's integrity? As you said, building awareness, sharing the wisdom. Is there other thoughts you have on that?
See, one is, there are 2 points I want to bring. One, generally, when I go with this, this is a whole lifelong journey and is such profound 3 layers of existence, we need to bring everything. Sometimes students can feel, this is too much. This is, whether I will be able to do it. Then when am I going to practice after learning all Ayurveda? If it is taking such a long time, when am I going to practice? Will I be able to practice in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Or I need to wait for the lifelong learning too? So the orientation is that even the first chapter of Sutrasthana in Ashtanga Hridaya, you can start giving people the principles of living. From the first chapter, you will get a lot of positive living principle. The importance of eating in time, the importance of sleeping in time, the importance of various principles. That means you need not wait to learn the whole Ayurveda to practice or to be effective. Your commitment is, I am going to learn my whole life. I'm going to help people. My commitment is, I'm going to do the best with the knowledge I have, the experience I have. You need not wait. But your commitment, I'm going to stay within my scope, within my, whatever I learned, whatever I'm confident, I'm going to stay within, and I'm committed to expand, deepen and broaden my knowledge. As I deepen and broaden, I will be able to help people with much more deeper and broader principles and knowledge base. So that is what all the new professionals of Ayurveda need to do. Help people with what they acquired within their scope and with a commitment to go more deeper and broader.
Absolutely. And I think that it's very different from the allopathic medicine approach. We're spending a lot of time with the Rogis, but I'd love for you to talk about the importance of teaching the Rogis and not just providing herbs, but also educating the Rogi, educating on their connection with nature's circadian rhythm and so on, and the dinacharya and the seasonal effect. I think that's an important part, right, of the education, that it's not just a transfer of herbs, that it's really about educating the Rogi.
Definitely. You know, the traditional Ayurvedic professionals in the Vedic science is mentioned as pranapisaras. That means, what is our dharma? Initiating a new life, healthy life. That means, couple comes, we would like to have a healthy child, please guide us. So you are guiding to create a new healthy life and hold them from the childhood throughout their life and including old age. And when they are ready to transition from this life to the other world, and hold them, even make that transition in a supportive, positive way. So that means you are the companion for life, right?
Mm-hmm.
In initiating a new life till, and the end of life care is the most profound, most important, according to me, helping the transition. So it's not about giving some herbs. It is not about managing some symptoms. It is you are available for helping people to have their journey through the life. And you are there to guide, to support. And so that is the role we need to play.
Mm-hmm.
There, building awareness is the key. How somebody can do the right thing or stop doing wrong things. Awareness is the only way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Awareness is the only way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about complex formulations or how many herbs you learned. The way you are able to inspire them, motivate them, empower them. The first principle of Ayurveda is that all human diseases happens either in the body or in the mind or together. No human diseases beyond body and mind. But at the same time, all the systems to help them heal from the problems are also working inside their body. Digestion is inside them, metabolism, hormones, immune system, which is supposed to protect and heal, it is within the patient. So who is the real healer? The patient is the healer.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot heal anybody. We can facilitate to have the right material for healing, right energy for healing, right consciousness for healing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's an empowering science. So every Ayurveda professional is able to understand this and convey this to then they understand, hey, we can play a role in our own healing. I can take charge of my health. It is not about a herb will solve my issue. I also need to take some responsibility. So this is an empowering science.
Yeah.
Where the education, motivation, the inspiration plays a key role in human transformation. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Like you said, the education, the awareness, empowering them to take responsibility for themselves, for their family. And then that's how we build this knowledge through generations, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And whenever I say this, my students will tell that, but they're not changing. They're not just doing what I am suggesting. And people in this modern world, they don't have time to do, or they are not following me. So I tell them that it is the way how you frame it. Nobody can, they have their own patterns of living, their own habits, their own way of thinking. They had just an hour and a half consultation with you. They're not going to flip 180 degree because they had a conversation with you. You need to create a journey for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Help them to accept the reality of their today and create a plan step by step. If somebody is sleeping throughout their life so far, sleeping at 2 a.m., and you cannot expect them to follow Ayurveda, oh, today onwards you are going to sleep at 10. They will say that you are impractical. I'm not going to come to you. You will say that, hey, I know that you got used to this time, but from Ayurvedic standpoint, your sleep time is much more important than your awake time, because from the time you wake up in the morning till you sleep, it's only wear and tear. The only time your mind-body system heal, recoup, rejuvenate, replenish is during the deepest state of sleep, that too at night. So I think it is important for you to shift. In place of sleeping at 2, can you sleep by midnight latest? Let us not talk about perfection. Create a journey for them with awareness.
Yeah.
When you suggest something, why that? What will happen if you make that change? What will happen if you don't make that change? And people will change. This is, 27th year of active practice. And this is the way I have been able to help people. People want to help themselves, but certain habituations and practices, what they have been doing, suddenly they cannot change. Always create a healing journey rather than suddenly you want them to change to a new individual. It will not work.
Yeah.
Create a journey for healing.
That's a great advice, and meeting the rogi where they are in their life.
Meeting them where they are, setting the goal where you want to see them over a period of time. Create the first step of that journey. Orient them. Tell them, I'm going to give you a roadmap. This is where I want to take you. This is where you are today. And this is my first step. Please come after 12 weeks. So let us see from today to that time what you are able to change, what is happening. Accordingly, I can create the next step for you. Handhold them and step with them, one step at a time, and help them along the way.
Great advice. That really
wonderful. Works.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that really works. Giving 4 important advice heart to heart directly with the compassion, kindness in a very practical way is much more powerful than typing 10 sheets, which will either be on the coffee table of the patient or somewhere else. Yeah. They will never follow.
Yes, exactly.
Heart to heart, simple 4 guidance is much more powerful than 10 pages of whatever you learned in Ayurveda. Type and giving to them.
100%. It goes back to what we said at the very start. We learn through stories. And if you connect with the rogi's story and then help them integrate Ayurveda into their story, it's going to stick more.
No doubt. Again, this is not just some theory I'm saying, Colette. Coming from an Ayurvedic family, I have been seeing this as a child. That was my inspiration to be in this, my maternal grandparents. And 26 years in my practice life, this is exactly what I have done. And I was able to help. I feel so fulfilled. The best investment I have done in my life is getting those blessings, that feeling healed, alleviating the pain. And that's what I have been doing. And that's why my goal as a healer, as a teacher, is to help my students to understand that this is not just some mumbo-jumbo theory. This is real, simple science, common sense science, which can really transform lives.
Yeah, and I think touching lives and feeling where there's a feeling of being of service, that you have a purpose, is what really gives us fulfillment and happiness in life.
That's right. That's right.
Rather than meeting certain wealth goals and so on.
Wealth will come, according to me. I'm very clear. I have been clear in this. That's what my life taught me. As long as you are dedicated, you are sincere, and you are, in a dharmic, in a righteous path, rest everything will follow you. Money will follow you, name will follow you, recognition will follow you, everything will follow you.
I feel that on a deep level, that when you step into a path that you're following your dharma, or you're living a life of virtue and you're living with your values, that you will be provided for, you will be taken care of in life, and your needs met.
There's a saying that if you are passionate, sincere, and you are righteous in your approach, the universe will conspire for you and work with you to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. Dr. Jay, I could talk to you forever, but as we finish up here, is there anything else that we didn't discuss on this matter that you would like to share? Is there anything else about finding that balance between preserving the Ayurvedic tradition and adapting for the modern world?
Sure. I just want to repeat that you may use certain elements of Ayurveda in different contexts. I'm not against giving turmeric to anybody or ginger in the right way to anybody. But all the students and professionals of Ayurveda should acquire as much knowledge as possible that covers all the three layers what I discussed, including the conscious layer. Then as required in small bits and pieces, you can give to people, but you should have the fullest awareness and the understanding of it, so that what you are giving will contain those elements of all the layers of the. And when we talk about it, we should not compromise on the concept to meet the framework what is already available. We need to create, or we need to facilitate creating the framework that can really accommodate Ayurveda to its fullest. It's a journey. You need to work with the existing system, but with an intention to contain the whole Ayurveda. And it's happening, step by step it is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the conversation, as I mentioned, about the quantum physics, that is also a part of the universe's plan. It will come back to source, it will keep coming. And be open, be flexible, be open, and be committed. And true to the science, true to the system. So that's what you need to do.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. And can you share with us a little bit, talking about education, share with us about the programs at Kerala Ayurveda Academy?
Sure. Education is everything. Kerala Ayurveda, has been there for 80 years. This institution, established in 1945 in Kerala, India, by founder Vaidya Jayarajan Kodikannath. Our commitment is to bring the authentic Ayurveda, its teachings, its practices, its offering to the entire world. That is the mission. And also creating confident and capable Ayurvedic professionals to serve the community. So with that, Kerala Ayurveda has been conducting various, educational programs. We do have certification program. Holistic Ayurvedic Coach is a 6-month program. And that is for helping self, family, friends as a coach with more life enhancement as a passion. Then the 1-year program is Ayurvedic Health Counselor, where prevention and life enhancement, a little bit more awareness. Then beyond that, there is a 1.5 years of Ayurvedic Practitioner program, the primary clinicians of Ayurveda to help people, those who are suffering. Then the most advanced program, it started as an AD program, Ayurvedic doctor level certified, then transformed to ACS. Now, the National Accreditation Commission in America is coined as Advanced Ayurvedic Practitioner, AAP. That is the most advanced credential available in Ayurveda in the US. Kerala Ayurveda is running even that. That is 3 years beyond the Ayurveda practitioner. We do have Panchakarma Technician program. Panchakarma is the Ayurvedic detoxification and rejuvenation. And these are the certification program Kerala Ayurveda provides. Our model is a hybrid model. We have students joining from across the globe. We have practical training centers, clinical training centers in America as well as in India. We have 3 hospitals in India where students can go and shadow, do their internship. Then, of course, we do workshops, web series, etc. Even we teach the Vedic text directly. There's a program called Ashtanga Hridayam, which I conduct every Wednesday evening, chanting the shlokas of the ancient text, Ashtanga Hridayam, explaining the verbatim meaning, and taking it forward. Our location in America is in Milpitas, California, in San Francisco Bay Area, where we do have a wellness center where we conduct Ayurvedic consultation. 6 Vaidyas, Ayurvedic doctors from India, are working with me. Consultation, Panchakarma, herbs, formulation. So we are here to serve.
Wonderful. And where can people go to find out more? So
www.keralaayurveda.us, KeralaAyurveda.us. That is our website. Or they can call 888-275-9103.
Wonderful. And I'll put all those links in the show notes. Dr. J, it's always a pleasure. I always learn, always enjoy the conversations. And again, thank you so much for taking the time. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Keep continuing. You have been doing this podcast for many years. I really appreciate all the presenters. You are very good in selecting the right presenter on your postcards. Please continue. We are here with you in this.
Thank you. That's much appreciated. Thank you so much, Dr. J. Until next time, take care.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Dr. J, and please check out the show notes for all the links mentioned. And if you haven't already subscribed or followed the podcast, please do so, and the new episodes will automatically download for you. And if you would like to rate and review the podcast, I would really appreciate that. Please come join me on social media. You can find my new Instagram page under Elements of Ayurveda Podcast, and on Facebook, it's Elements Healing and Wellbeing. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take good care of yourself, be well, and bye for now. Slán go fóill.